want to talk about hope this morning, and it's very timely. If you're like me, I try not to do too much reading, but you can't help but hear about what's happening in the virus world and this new, what do they call it, Omicron virus, a break-off virus, a variant that's in Africa, in parts of Europe, and it's my strong belief that the masking is going to go for a long time, much longer than we had hoped. If you had told me 2 years ago that we would miss 2 Christmases of having regular worship, I would have been shocked, but it looks like we're going to have worship, but it's not going to look like it has before. It's very disheartening when we read about that. We try to live with hope and the expectation that comes with that, that we're going to move forward and be done with this, and it'll be in our rearview mirror, and then the news gets worse and worse. I was talking to somebody the other day about their issues and problems. I ran into them in a grocery store. I hadn't talked to her for a long time. And she talked to me about marriage issues and financial issues and health issues. And it was quite depressing and a very sad story. And before I left the conversation, I said, "You do believe, though, that you're going to make it through this?" And she said, "No, I don't." "You have to believe," I said, "you have to believe that things are going to get better and that you are going to be okay at the end of the day." I don't believe that. That is living without hope. And we cannot, that is despair. We cannot live without hope. And it doesn't matter how dark and how gloomy things might look, and when people project a darkness in the years to come and the climate issues, we cannot give in to despair and let go of this powerful gift of hope. I just finished a very powerful book. I bought a Kindle about a month ago, and I'm almost finished with my 4th book. I would read 2 books a year, and now I realize that it was my eyesight that was the most difficult part of reading. I needed to be under a bright light, and it was quite difficult for me. It's easy with a Kindle. Anyway, one of the books I just finished is called Educated by Tara Westover. It's a memoir of her life, growing up in the mountains of Idaho in a Mormon community. And not only were her parents Mormons, they were survivalists. Her dad had guns and gasoline and provision buried in bunkers all over their property. He didn't believe, he believed that the government would come for him someday, much like the government has for other survivalists in his belief. And they didn't believe in public education. So they were homeschooled, but they weren't really homeschooled. And she talked about her life growing up in a family of 6 children, very strict parents, not having any contact with the outside. And when she was in high school years, even though she didn't go, her parent or somebody suggested, "You should go to university. You're a very bright person." But she says, "I don't have any education." They said, "I'll give you a sample of the ACT test." And so she took a sample of it, and she did very poorly, especially on the math. So somebody helped to tutor her. And finally, at the age of 17, she passed the ACT, and she was accepted in Brigham Young University in Utah. She graduated with honors, and she went on to get a degree at Cambridge, and she got her doctorate from Harvard, I believe it was. And a brilliant person, but she talked about the difficulty of getting an education in the environment that she grew up in. As I was reading this story, and my heart was grabbed, I couldn't help but think of all the other children who were raised in similar situations. And this story was a story of hope. It gave hope for tens of thousands of people who find themselves in similar situations. It was a story of hope not only for children who grow up in a very strict Mormon survivalist environment, but it's hope for all people who grow up in very strict environments and family situations. I couldn't help but think what it would be like for a gay person to grow up in the Mormon church, or God forbid, a transgender person growing up in a Mormon closed-minded family. How difficult it would be. But it's not just the Mormon community. There are tens, dozens of communities that are very strict, narrow-minded, fundamentalist, that expect you to grow up in the box that they have set for you. And if you do not fit in that box, there is no hope. How many young people today commit suicide, take their lives because they live without hope? They can't see their way out of this. I saw an interview of Tara Westover on Ellen DeGeneres. It was after she had written the book and become quite famous. And you could see on her face that even though she became educated, she overcame all these obstacles in her life. She is now ostracized by her parents and several siblings. She cannot go back home and be with her family. We need to live in a world of hope, especially now when there is darkness all around us. In the month of December, when it's darker than any other time, we need to live with hope. And the hope that we have to get through winter is that spring is coming. We believe that, would have confidence in that with all our faith and with all our might. We believe and we know that spring is coming. Darkness will not be with us forever. This is the same hope that we need to live with. It's the faith that things will get brighter. We cannot slip into despair as some people do and believe, I don't know if I will be okay. I don't know if I will get through this difficult time. Even if you're unsure, say the words, believe the words. I will get through this. I live with hope. When I see a candle lit, that is my symbol of hope, and that's what I live with. We don't know what our future, the future of our planet will be. We don't know the future of the virus. We don't know the future of the church. But whatever lies ahead, live with hope in your hearts.